We are going episode 100. Let's see, 111.
Oh, I thought we were still at 10.
No.
That was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So hi, Suzie, Matt,
Hey.
Suzie Health Solutions, Suzilla, all that good stuff here at our shiny, almost new. I mean, it's not quite so new anymore. It's been like 3 weeks.
Oh, we're still got stuff coming in.
Oh yeah. I mean, hopefully we'll have stuff arriving today, but not the couch. I don't know what.
Yeah, another invoice.
I'm working on
Another
that.
invoice came in.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you set up a new business, it always costs you more than you expect.
Yeah.
And everyone has their hand out, so
Yeah.
it's to be expected.
Well, the thing is, we're not setting up a new business. We're just setting up a new location.
It's a new business.
Okay.
New location, new business.
I disagree. I don't think we're a new business. I think we're the same business doing it in a better way.
Well, yes, we are taking some of what business we did at the old location, and when we moved, we were able to enter our information so that people would be able to find us easier.
Right. That doesn't make us a new business.
But there'll be more people. There'll be different people that find us by just driving by.
That's true, which we're grateful for. But again, I still disagree that we're a new business. I think people might say, "Hey, is that a new business?"
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make us new. We've been around for 10 years. I mean,
yeah, we've been doing this for a while, and we're going to talk about technology today.
Yep, among other things.
Because you can be around for a long time and completely change what you're doing, but a little bit of changes with technology.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, one of the things that we've always been very up to speed with was trying to be a little bit ahead of the curve with the technology, because we're just the two of us. Mm-hmm. And so if we're going to handle as many customers and clients as we do, technology gives us basically a whole third person.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Because, the first couple of years, I managed my customers and who I had and keep track of them and commissions and stuff using a spreadsheet.
Yep. Excel was our friend, and it was amazingly, it worked well, but we didn't have 2,000 people in our book. Yeah. It was like 200, and they were all color coded, and everything was, it worked okay for a little while. Yeah, it worked.
We did it. I want to say it was about 3 years.
Yeah. And then we grabbed Agency Block, and everything changed.
Yeah. Because we didn't know about Agency Block. I think it was year 1 or 2, maybe even year 3.
I think it was 3 when we pulled in Agency Block.
And we pulled in Agency Block,
which is our customer retention system, but our customer tracking system. Basically.
Yeah. It allows us to know that, hey, this is the person we called. We are able to enter notes. This is the policies we've written for them. We call it our brain.
Yes, it is our brain.
It allows us to, if our office burns down and we have to buy new computers tomorrow.
That was me knocking wood.
Yeah, that's why we got insurance policies. We would be able to start up rather quick manner.
Right, because this is kept in a secure data cloud offsite. Secure, absolutely. This is what these people do for a living, and they know how important to keep this confidential information confidential and secure. Just in case you're curious.
Yeah, so that wipes out the need for having mountains, piles of file cabinets,
giant binders of people.
Yeah,
we have a lot less file cabinet stuff because of it. I mean, there are papers that we have to retain because that's just part of the rules. Mm-hmm. If we can get them digital, like, for example, a scope of appointment for Medicare stuff.
A scope of appointment is required anytime that Suzie or another producer talks about Medicare to a potential client.
Medicare drug plans specifically. Mm-hmm. If we're going to talk about that, we have to have a scope of appointment, which is the client giving us permission to discuss certain topics.
Yeah, and it's required by law.
It is. It is required by law. And if we have, regardless of whether it's digital or physical, those records have to be retained for 10 years.
Yeah.
I try to get as many digital as I can, but there are people who just do better with paper. Mm-hmm. So I've got a file cabinet with these little scopes of appointment in them.
Yeah, and digital is one of those things that allows you to, work here in Wenatchee and then have customers in like Twist.
Yes, and I do, and I love my customers in Twist, Banana Cortis, and Spokane, and Yakima, all over the state.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of awesome, and it's in that kind of online digital work is one of the things that makes so much possible.
Yeah.
I mean, not even that much, not even that far before I started with this, the standard was for the agent or the broker to go to each individual person's house
Mm-hmm.
and discuss policies with them. I can't imagine why anyone would want to do that on a regular basis these days. I've done more than one, and I'll do it again. It's just it's weird.
That model's better served when you're dealing with high density populations.
You're right. If you're in a place where we're here in Wenatchee, we're a lot more rural. I mean, a lot of my clients are more than a 30-minute drive from here.
Well, yeah, if you put together Chelan, Douglas, and Okanagan,
Grant,
you're looking at more square miles than like Connecticut.
Yeah.
So we're a small state.
Yeah, we are. I mean, there's just and people are spread out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of I've got people who are farmers and ranchers and orchardists, and they're out a ways working their crops or their herds, and they've got digital access too, and it just makes it easier for them, so they don't have to come into town. Makes it easier for me, so I don't have to take 3 hours out of my day, because that's pretty much
travel time
would add in about 3 hours for some of these situations, which enables me to help more people.
Yeah, because we know that we've talked to a couple people that their goal is to talk to 1,000 Medicare and enroll 1,000 Medicare each cycle, which is an incredible feat. Typically, they can't have clients enroll in set appointments because they have to coordinate when they're going to be at certain locations.
Yeah.
Just to work with that many people. It's a logistics thing.
Well, if you're going to try and get 1,000 people during the annual enrollment period, which is 75 days, give or take.
Yeah.
How are you going to be able to new clients? How are you going to give them the attention they need? Because I figure a Medicare appointment is an hour.
You can when you go through and do it by the numbers.
Yeah.
Just a set Medicare Advantage plan.
Yeah. I just run the pre-cut.
Yeah, the pre-cut video. You're right about a half hour. So without answering questions, you're at about a half hour.
Yeah, but you're not doing your clients a service if you're not answering their questions. And you got to plug in their meds. It can be done. It's just I don't think it creates an experience that your client likes.
Yeah, we like to treat our clients incomparable.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want anyone. We want people to go, I had the best visit there, and I want to go back.
Yeah,
and I want to tell my friends about it. And that's fine, and that's what we expect. That is the goal we've set for ourselves, is to give our clients an incomparable experience.
Yeah,
and that's just our choice. If a broker wants to go a little more, I don't know, impersonal, I guess.
Well, that's a point where they're looking at the end result versus the process.
Yeah.
And it takes the logistics, because he's got to have a booker that's he's going to be in Boulder this week and Sarasota Springs next week.
Yeah,
they've got to literally line it up on that weekly basis.
Yeah.
And that's a grueling lifestyle. Yeah, it produces results. It's something that we don't do.
No.
because we'd rather focus on our specific area
Yeah.
and provide the best possible service.
Well, what this person could be doing is they could be focusing on this enrollment period, the short period of a
Mhm.
year, and then just partying the rest of the year, like a CPA during tax season.
I got the impression
that wasn't the case.
No, I got the impression that they were doing their homework and bird dog in multiple states and multiple special enrollments.
Yeah.
Which is not, we're too family focused.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this person's he's doing the whole make hay while the sun shines and then retire early.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's his choice. That's their choice. And that's just, I'm too old for that.
Yeah, he brings up the average, and the average Medicare agent processes something like four apps during enrollment.
For new apps?
No.
Or just generally?
Just 4 apps, yeah.
Renewals and stuff?
Yeah.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm more than that.
Yeah, you're on the super producer track. You're bringing up the averages.
Am I?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because this year was the first year we really looked at it. So we tell everyone, hey, get your appointment now.
Mm-hmm.
Before they fill up. We go to 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And we started 7 days a week, 2 years ago?
Something like that. When I think we started the 7 days a week when we were at the beginning of COVID, when we were having everybody, we were just getting hammered by people trying to get in individual. So
to 2020. So yeah, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. And that's when we made it absolutely clear that digital appointments were completely an option. And still are.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't, we're less likely to give each other a communicable disease.
Yeah, because it's still going on. About 400 to 500 people are dying each week.
Yeah. Doesn't mean that, if you're feeling well, I'm feeling well, you just don't want to come down from Chelan. Okay. I got no problems with that.
Yeah. So we got the technology in place. So yeah, we've been doing it for about 2 years, but we've used a booking app.
Yes. And that has made all the difference in the world. It's so easy. We just shoot someone a link. You can go, click the link. You go to a calendar. You pick a date and time that works for you.
Yeah,
works great. There's a couple little hiccups that we discovered, but we iron them out as they tumble in. It
sends reminders.
Sends reminders.
So that's another step of our day. We don't have to. One of the things when I started the business was you would call the people today that you're going to see tomorrow to remind them.
The amount of time on the phone with the touches has really, really shifted. And that is an entire bunch of time that we can use for other more productive things.
We can use it for conversations with our clients.
Yes, because we're not having to spend, 3 or 4 hours a day reminding everybody that they need to come, that they're going to come see us next week.
Yeah, but that's a big shift in the industry. The digital applications.
Thank God for that.
I started with paper applications for some things.
Yeah. The paper applications still exist. There's some carriers that still want you to fax the applications, which is
really, you've got one of those.
Oh, there's Medicare drug plans big on. Well, you can mail it to us, you can fax it to us, but we really like it if you use our digital app. So of course I'm on there going, digital, sure, no problem, vroom. But yeah, I know that there are some folks who have been in this industry for a lot longer that just cannot get their heads around it. We've seen it.
Oh yeah. The fax machine is something that is so goofy that we make fun of because it was invented during the age of the samurai.
Yeah, it was in the 1800s. A samurai could have faxed a warning to Abraham Lincoln to not go to Ford's Theater. That old.
Yeah, so it's like, let's get to this century, and that's why,
some insurance companies are just barely in the 20th century. They're let alone in the 21st. Now, to be fair, they are catching up. COVID did force a lot of issues in that regard.
Yeah.
There was a couple of good things that did come out of COVID, and digital and virtual enrollments was one of them. And the researchers of the QR code as a usable tool was another.
Well, another one was the virtual doctor's appointments.
Yes. And things like what kind of started this topic today, virtual doctor's appointments, which is awesome, which had been available, just no one was using them.
Yeah, because I remember when it went on, one of our politicians said, "Oh, we're gonna expand the availability of virtual enrollment." So I looked at all the carriers, all the major carriers in our area, including the Medicare Advantage plan, and it's like, oh, they already have virtual doctors set up.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's expand, not create.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, so they're already doing this, so it's like, okay,
now just everybody knows.
Cool, you're advertising what they've been doing probably for years. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. But one thing it also created was the delivery apps, which takes us to what we were thinking about in the first place. One thing that we stumbled across, thanks to our friend Mike McCormick, was the Mr. Beast burger. He posted on his Facebook. He's our friend out in New York.
Yeah, he is one of the organizers and creators of Insurance Soup.
Right, and
if you're in the insurance industry, go to Facebook, go to Insurance Soup.
It's totally worth it.
Plug into it.
Yeah, don't try and sell anything; you'll get your butt kicked out.
Yeah,
but what he did is he was showing us this Mr. Beast burger. And it's like, okay, I've never heard of this Mr. I know my kids know who Mr. Beast is. He's some YouTube guy.
Yeah, he's some YouTube guy that gives away stuff.
Right, exactly. So I've seen a couple of his videos. It's like, oh, okay, basically sometimes it's a touch a truck situation kind of level of.
Yeah, didn't they do like touch a house?
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 of them got together and like touched a house.
Yeah, there's a few things. I've seen a couple. It's a little, but he gives away hundreds of thousands of dollars. God knows where the money comes from. Don't worry, don't care.
From his YouTube channel.
Well, yeah. He had to start it with something.
Yeah.
But either way, regardless, he's got this stuff. He gives away money. He gives great for supports charities. And he created this Mr. Beast hamburger.
Yeah.
But he didn't build a restaurant. And you're going, huh? Just like we all went, huh? Because, Mike's kids knew what Mr. Beast was. He was vaguely aware of Mr. Beast. So he saw an ad for it or something, or I don't know how he came across his brain. But he said, okay, what's this? And he looked and he found it on DoorDash, one of the delivery apps. It's like, okay, this is fine.
He does a lot more DoorDash than we do.
Yeah. Well, he's got more. He's in New York. He's got more DoorDash opportunities. It also takes him longer to get anywhere from here to there. It takes us 10 minutes to get to a restaurant.
And his wallet is a lot fatter than ours.
That's true. But he found this and he looked at it. It's like, okay, that's interesting. And there was no physical address for this Mr. Beast restaurant. It's like, what the heck? So he did a little digging. And what they did is they have what's called a ghost kitchen. They subcontract with another restaurant. Here in Wenatchee, it's Red Robin.
Yes.
The Red Robin chain. Other cities have it in different restaurants, but Red Robin seems to be a partner pretty frequently with them.
Well, they've got 500 restaurants. Yeah, I boomered myself.
Yes, you did.
It's a small chain.
Yeah, I go, what do you think? What do you mean small chain? Red Robin's huge. And he got quickly corrected. No, it's a 500 unit chain. It's been around. It's not.
Well, I was raised in Seattle, so I grew up with, a handful of these things. I'm like, maybe it's like 20. No, it's 500.
Yeah, it's big. But they partnered up with Red Robin, and they partnered up with other chains depending on where you're located. And they say, okay, here's our recipe. Here's our product. I think I would imagine they send over, raw ingredients. I don't know.
We do not know on how its system plugs into an established system.
No, we don't. All we know is they have their own packaging and they have their own recipes.
And it's a really simple packaging because it's a box, and with a sticker on it, so it's easily portable.
Yes,
it was a really slick design choice.
Right, it was, and it was colorful and bright, and it said what was in the box, which is a smart thing.
And it wasn't this monster menu; it was like maybe 6 items.
I want to say there's plain fries with seasoning, plain fries without seasoning, monster or was it beast fries, which is fries with stuff on it.
Yeah.
And, like 2 different kinds of burgers and some impossible burger choices.
Yeah.
So not a huge menu.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of burden on the partner restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tasty.
Yeah, and you turned around and you said, "Well, who else is doing this?" And you found one out of Denny's.
Yeah, Denny's, our local, Denny's 24-hour Denny's has got a subcategory they call themselves Burger Den. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, what is this? And I poked around a little bit on the website. It's like, oh, this is Denny's hamburgers. Mm-hmm. They've subcategorized themselves as Denny's hamburgers. And if you look at the comments, like, yeah, this is Denny's, because Denny's hamburgers are generally under-seasoned.
They're pretty pedestrian.
They are, and it's a lot of that's because their demographics a little bit on the older side and are sometimes a little more sodium con.
I like my art membership.
Oh yeah, your art membership.
Yeah,
we get a discount if we go to Denny's, and then that's okay. And there's edible food at Denny's.
But the big thing that it doesn't get that Mr. Beast does is that whole marketing YouTube channel.
Exactly. All they did was they reshuffled that burger line into another shopping button.
Yeah.
You can get your pancakes if you go to the Denny's part of DoorDash, but you can get your burgers if you go to the Burger Den part of DoorDash.
Yeah, they just kind of it's like spreading out product on grocery shelves.
Yeah, exactly. They're cross-selling.
Yeah, and it's not you don't have additional. You have to get into that shopping place to even know it exists.
Yes.
Where Mr. Beast is like, ooh, we got a big old flashing sign out there on the sidewalk saying, hey, buy this burger.
Well, virtual sidewalk.
Yeah.
And it is patently different than what the host restaurant sells.
Yes.
Red Robin is a burger joint. There's no question about it. These are smash burgers, and so have a different. They're the
different texture.
Different texture. They're the thinner, crisper, a little greasier. I would say mine was kind of maybe on the greasy side, with their own mix of spices and goos and stuff, and which tasted different than a Red Robin burger.
Yeah,
and there's no question about that. So it's unique enough that although it definitely stands apart from the host restaurant's product. But because they're both burgers, they can use the same grills. Mm-hmm. And that's, even in the Impossible Burger, probably, I don't know if Red Robin does the Impossibles or not.
I'm not sure.
I'd have to look. But, I would certainly hope that if you're doing an Impossible Burger, you're using a dedicated grill for that. Hard to say.
It's hard. It's hard to say. It really depends on the whole vegetarian versus vegan.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm a vegan, I do not want my Impossible Burger cooked on a burger grill.
Yes, because
it's cross-contaminated from a vegan vegetarian standpoint.
Yeah, if you're hardcore vegan, yes.
Oh yeah, and if you're vegan, you're generally pretty hardcore. I mean, there's definitely different tiers of veganism. All you have to do is watch. Was it Scott Pilgrim? Scott Pilgrim versus the Universe. We learned about the different tiers of vegans on that movie, which was pretty darn funny. But I mean, there's vegans who won't eat honey, for example.
Yes, because it
is an abuse of bees.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's certainly different levels. I remember there were arguments over beer and yeast. Yeah, because the organisms.
Yeah, and I've had questions. I've Googled this more than once. Okay, is yeast vegan?
Yeah. Because
it's a living organism. And generally speaking, the answer is yes, you can eat yeast. You can eat yeast because it's a single cell organism and it doesn't have any kind of, consciousness. But does it? See, and there's also the question about oysters and veganism.
What?
Oh, yeah, you need to look that up. Shellfish and vegan.
I'm an omnivore, man. I'm a big furry bear. I'm happy eating all sorts of different things.
It's true. I fed him all kinds of different things. And he eats a lot of it.
Yes.
Very rarely does he go, probably don't make this again.
I am not the picky eater of the house.
No, he's not. That would be me.
So, yeah, there are applications out there and software applications out there that are very successfully in changing and redesigning business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The whole concept of using the internet as a tool to drive business versus just something to look at it's there. It's almost like it's a whole separate world.
It is. I remember, 20 years ago, there was a discussion on how the different genders use the internet.
Uh-huh.
Whereas guys were using it for entertainment and women were using it for looking up things.
Okay, I can see that. I suspect the shopping came from a lot of the women, because traditionally we're shoppers.
Hard to say because, dudes have like niche markets and stuff.
That's true. And that's actually blown up quite a bit. Most of your beard care comes from the internet.
Yes.
Just because we have access to small businesses that only exist digitally. The Etsy stores are a great example of how you can build a small business without actually having a brick and mortar store.
And that is and here's the thing that you got to look at, and it's like the Denny's model. Because the Denny's is, when I say it's like, oh yeah, it's like kind of spreading out the product on a grocery shelf.
Yes.
Etsy can be the same thing. You're spreading it out. You're putting your gear on that search engine, and it costs money to have stuff on Etsy.
It does. You have to pay a portion of your profits to be on their site, which is to be expected.
However, one of the things that we know that's really tough is customer acquisition.
Yes, and that's always tricky. If you pay extra, you can be on their front page, I suspect. And that's another thing that grocery stores do.
Yep.
If you want to be on the eye level shelf, you have to at your local grocery store, you have to pay for that shelf space. You have to pay for your shelf. Every company that has something on the shelf has paid for that shelf space.
Yes.
And the more easily accessible it is, the higher the cost to the maker. That is a secret sauce grocery store thing.
Yep.
And you, the customer, are not the only source of income for them.
Yeah, and most people don't realize it when their shopping experience is how manufactured it is.
Oh, people must know by now.
No, I think people go in and just assume that it's laid out. The grocery store does it all.
Oh no, there's entire industries built on how flow works in grocery.
Oh, there's psychology.
There's
design.
Psychology.
I remember when I was taking psychology and learning about. Oh yeah, we do psychology and studies on how people grab certain items. And how the flow of the store works.
Why the floral department's up front and the milk's in the back, and the bakery, has fresh smelling breads all the time.
Yeah.
Those are all things I'm sure most of you have heard about that, but that's real. It's been studied. It's legit. It's weird, but it's legit.
And the internet and some of the applications, you can do the same thing with your business.
Yes, you can.
One of the things I did was we've created some custom websites using Canva.
Canva is a great tool, by the way.
And
that's an unsponsored Canva. If you want to sponsor us, you can, but that's an unsponsored endorsement for Canva.
And recently, because we activated a couple of them, and I found, well, what's this little button up here? And it shows what links have been hit.
Yeah, that's nifty.
So I know who's going where.
And how they're getting there. So I can, if something I'm pushing is not going fast enough, I can redesign that section pretty quickly. Yep.
So it's got some really dynamic tools as a builder that I can work with, and I'm getting ready to do another thing where we do a little bit of geofencing.
Now that's an interesting product, the geofencing. I don't know if you want to spill the secret sauce on that or not.
If someone's paying attention to us, woohoo, they're doing their homework. We realized a long time ago that hey, we do insurance. We gladly have someone will walk in here, go shop someplace else, because 9 times out of 10 they'll come right back to us
because we give them the experience that most people want.
And we take care of our people, and we handle our people. And if someone wants to work as hard as we do, we'll bless them. They can have the customers too.
Yeah, we'll share.
Yeah. because reality, I don't see that many customers. We're going to go looking for some of those areas for people who are not having a good customer experience.
Exactly.
And improve their lives.
Exactly. We're gonna do our best. And what this is, it's this thing called geofencing. And how it works is, and I don't know the mechanics of it. I'll be straight up with that.
Okay, I'll do.
But you do. I'll do
Okay.
the consumer facing
Okay.
concept. You do the details. So what happens is, if you're trotting along and you go to something where we have this thing geofenced, which is a relatively small circle where our ad will be broadcast. So you cross the geo fence. It's a virtual fence, right? And you look at your Candy Crush app, right? And you get an ad during Candy Crush. And sometimes it's an ad for, I don't know, Ready whipped cream. Well, if you cross the geo fence, you're probably going to get an ad for Suzie Health Solutions.
Yep.
Because we've directed our ads to that fenced in area. The trick is we can put the fenced in areas wherever we think is going to be useful.
Yeah.
So if we want to do a geofence around the senior activity center, so people will see people who go, so seniors who go visit there, they're looking at their phones, they're looking at and they see the ads on their apps. They know who we are. We get into their little brains. Another example. Well, I don't know if you want to. I'll let you take it from here.
There are plenty of different places we can do. We could geofence our own location so that people walk out and they get reminded of us. We could geofence Town Toyota Center, which is our local sports arena.
That's true. That's a lot of people. But one of the things we do want to do is geofence areas that, the thing is, if we geofence the Town Toyota Center, it's a lot of people that are not necessarily are the demographics we're trying to reach.
It depends on what was our financial advisor. Who's your preferred customer?
Yeah, we're looking for preferred customers. The Town Toyota Center is a very, very wide range of people. Whereas if we geofence the senior center, we know we're dealing with primarily people over 65.
Yeah, so it's there's some guesswork, there's some science,
just some. We want to circle this building for one reason or another.
And because we're doing so much different layers, and there's ways that you can target based on shopping habits.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that hey, have you ever sat there and talked about Lay's potato chips and got an ad for Lay's potato chips? Yeah, that's the level of things that are being done. It's Lay's pays for that particular shelf space, and when you mentioned it, the internet delivers that shelf to your doorstep.
Betcha, I'll get an ad for Ready whipped cream.
Probably
because my phone's sitting here, and it's just hanging out. It's asleep. I don't have an active. I don't have my screen's not active right now, but I'll bet I'll see an ad for some sort of whipped cream in the next day or so.
Yeah, so there are ways that to change on how you market, how you create marketing materials, how you set appointments. I've been telling my haircutting guy, hey, you need to get on this. He's like, I tried one, it didn't work. It's like, there's at least 8 different programs out there to keep you from stacking your appointments. Make sure you get paid. He's had to go to a prepaid model for appointments.
I did not know that.
Yes, he's requiring because he's had so many people have difficulties with appointments. He's requiring, okay, you want to set an appointment? Here, $20 on Venmo.
Reminds me, do you have a Venmo yet?
No.
I have a Venmo.
Okay.
Does he trust you to pay cash?
Yes.
Because you have a relationship with him.
I have a relationship with him.
And you've never stood him up.
No, and I tip and pay well. I also here's your pro tip for the day. Timing. I usually come to him at the end portion of the month when most people are broke and I've got cash on hand, so he's got cash to carry him.
Yeah. It might be enough just to make sure that they've got groceries for that night.
Yeah.
He's a cash business.
It's a cash business, but that's one of those things that I've done and targeted, and so he knows that I'm not doing the bare minimum, no tip. I let him work his craft on me, because haircutting is a craft.
It's an art.
It is an art.
It's a freaking art. What he's done to your beard has been art.
Mm-hmm.
But you also let it go at least 2 weeks too long traditionally.
Oh, a long time. So yeah, do not be afraid to work some of these new tools.
Yeah, they don't bite.
It's one of those things that if you are truly working your business, you're going to introduce at least one thing new a year, at least one thing new a quarter. You can't do one a week, because that's 52. That's kind of on the crazy side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing cutting new ads every week for a couple of different things.
Yeah,
and that's pretty extreme.
We've been at a pretty hot technology push the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last 2 years. Just adding in new layers to our our marketing pushes.
Yeah, our marketing pushes is really wild at this point. We'll probably rein it in next year.
Yeah, just kind of smooth it out a little bit. Part of it is because of the move. Part of it was because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Our marketing is going to tilt a little. It's going to refocus into a different direction, because we're changing the business. We're still going to be here. We're still going to be working on health insurance, but we're expanding.
Yeah, so. It's been kind of weird, because occasionally I do get "Are you still doing insurance?"
Yeah,
and it's like, "Cha." Because I've been doing it for like 10 years. It's like, yeah, if someone rolls up to me and says, "Hey, I need a builder," or "Hey, I need this," it's like, yeah, go see this person. We've been doing insurance for over a decade.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere.
No.
We're gonna keep expanding what we offer.
Yep.
And so if you don't see it, it's like, "Oh, here, go here. We will throw it out." We just worked with a really, a good financial planner.
Yep.
We've got a handful of financial planners. So if you come to me and say, "Hey, I want to retire. How do I do that?"
Here's your card.
It's like, okay.
Here's one of 3 people you can choose from.
Yeah, here's your, what business are you in? And I could lead you off to, someone I think would be a good fit for you.
Exactly. That's one of the things we do, is we are referral monsters.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's probably a good place to stop.
So, hey, have a great day.
Yes. Enjoy your Thursday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.